Okay, so this tank is what we started with. It was the Fluval Evo 13.5, and I used live sand, 1 kilo of live rock, and then the rest just dry marco rock. I got it second hand and I really liked it. Before February I started adding coral into the tank, probably about 2-3 weeks into it. I also set up our first ever tank with tap water, dechlorinated with prime, and these corals survived in there. I don't know if they thrived. Well, the waving hand coral xenia thing, it definitely thrived. It started spreading. So this is a few weeks later. You can see the torch is big. This is when I just realised that using tap water isn't the right thing to do and to start using RO. So just through water changes I started to get the tap water out. Then in April we decided to upgrade the tank. The Fluval Evo just wasn't big enough for us. We wanted to keep bigger fish. We wanted to keep a little tang, and yeah, so we got the Fluval Roma 125, which was a freshwater tank converted into the marine tank with a Fluval 207 canister filter. And there is a video on the channel about what I had in the canister filter and how I was able to keep the reef tank how it was. You can see here I also added a bubble tip anemone. It was really good, but it moved around a lot, probably because I didn't really have that good of flow and the tank's still new. It was a brand new anemone, essentially a brand new tank. Now this picture's really bad, but I did not care because the tank looked really bad. It was covered in, I think, cyanobacteria, but I did get a few more coral. You can see on the right there I also had a Duncan that wasn't even open, so it just goes to show the state of the tank. We had some frog spawn, they bowed out. The torch that had been in the Fluval Evo with the tap water, as you can see, that's in the middle and it's still surviving. In fact, it was split in there, so I would say it was starting to thrive. This July, this cyanobacteria cleared up a little bit. Not much has changed. It's the same coral. The blasto you see in the middle there, the orange one, that did actually grow about 3 heads during that cyanobacteria period, so that was quite a surprise. Now move on to August. Another ugly stage, but you can see that torch is still there. The GSP has grown. The heads on the blasto have got bigger, and the toadstools are all open, so I think this was just a nutrient balance issue here. 28th of September, this is when the tank's ugly stage started to die down. I messed around with the rockscape a little bit to see how I could get it. You can see the torch there on the right, still there. I did try some pulsing xenia there in the middle next to the GSP to try soak up some of those nutrients, but the pulsing xenia died and I cannot keep pulsing xenia. Probably the only person who cannot keep it, but that GSP spread like wildfire. I've got a hammer there on the left, which I've still got now, and the toadstools I've still got, and even the Kenya tree. So in October you can see I've still got the torch to the right. The pulsing xenia seemed to have survived for a little bit, but I wasn't able to keep it much longer. The rockscape stayed the same. I really did not like it, so I moved the rockscape around a little bit more in November, and I added some SPS. I've added, you can see that I've added some green red Monty, some Ceratopora, Montipora Hasuta, and a chili pepper frag. I added some more zoas onto a rock to try to start a zoa garden, and you can just see here now the torch that I had from the beginning, it's just shriveled up there, and this is actually when it starts to die. No idea what happened, but all of my Euphilia just bowed out, apart from the hammer that I've still got now. So in this picture, I removed the Hasuta and chili pepper to a local reefer because they started to go brown in this tank, and I just wanted them to survive. But I added some Possidopora there, just underneath the red cap, and it survived, it thrived. I still got a little piece in my tank now after selling the main colony. The Zoa rock was growing, added a Scully, some Acans, all good there. The torch that died, I replaced it. In fact, I bought a few more, as you can see there, and everything was just looking good from here. Then I changed the rockscape even more. I added some more rocks in. I wanted to build it up to have a higher surface area, so I could place more SPS, because I started to like SPS, and as you'll see as this goes along that I like SPS more and more. everything's looking good. A little bit of cyano here and there. Toadstool was closed up in this picture, unfortunately, but the Euphyllia's good. SPS haven't really grown. Zoas are just starting to grow, and now we are in April. I've added more Euphyllia. The SPS are growing. I've added a few more pieces, a few more acans, mushrooms, bit of pink hystrix there on the left, just next to the GSP on the right. Very small. I thought I bought it a lot larger than that, but everything's looking good. The Ceratopora at the top there is growing. Now we go on to May. This was when I was finally happy with the tank. I've got Euphyllia thriving, just look at them in bottom right. SPS growing, the tank's just full and I really like it. And then I have to move out of that house because I finished uni and move into a new house. But with that I got a bigger tank, but I did have to start all over again. So this was actually the majority, I think like the most of the coral from that tank you just saw into the new one, and you can see it's really empty. So you can see that pink hystrix is just starting to grow, the red montes are growing, the Hirsutas coloured up, it's back, the Zoa Garden's almost complete. Then in August you can see that Ceratopora bird's nest, it's really grown a lot, and the Euphyllia we've got, they're enjoying the tank, they're enjoying the new wave makers. Now not much has changed since September. The odd coral has been moved around or fragged. Also I don't know if it's a Lobo or Acan, but on the bottom by the sandbed next to the jack-o'-lantern Leptastria, I moved that up to the top of the rockscape on the 14th of October because the person who I got it from, they had it at the top under, I think they had T5s and loads of hydras, and it coloured up really well there, so I wanted to do the same. You can see it, some more SPS has grown, I've added a few pieces, the Zoa Garden's growing out again. 30th of November, the tank's starting to take shape now, the corals are starting to grow out. I actually added a PC Rainbow, which was brown with a little bit of green in it, and a few other corals just grew into the places basically. Now in January I decided to frag a load of Zoas and place them on the sand bed while I figure out what to do with them. But everything's grown really well here. You can see the Ceratopora has grown a lot. That's been fragged so many times as well. I've got the pink hystrix, which you saw in the old Fluvaroma 125. It's just massive now. And the red montes are growing really well. The Euphyllia's expanded. The Euphyllia's polyp extension is really good. And now the tank as it currently stands. I removed the Zoa Garden. I actually just fragged that up today. You can see I've got a few more pieces of Euphyllia there, and the SPS are growing really well. They've been fragged so many times as well. I've added a few little mushrooms. You can see the really bright red ones down on sandbed and in the back. Got the original Kenya tree. The PC Rainbow is coloured up a lot more. You can't really see in this picture. It's just on the top right middle arch, right at the very top, and you can see that the green branches, but in real life it's kind of got like gold polyps in person.